A Philippine solar power company led by the son of Antique Representative Loren Legarda calls for cooperation to end energy poverty in the Philippines. Solar para sa Bayan is asking those opposed to its franchise bill to join forces to achieve 100% electrification in the country. Several business groups, including the Makati Business Club, urged President Duterte to order a cabinet-level review of the franchise measure, citing alleged undue advantage that Solar para sa Bayan will have over other players. Despite this, Duterte still granted the company a 25-year renewable energy distribution franchise. Well, with us now for more from our Rockwall studio in Makati is Leandro Leviste, the president of Solar Philippines. Congratulations, Leon, and welcome to the program.
And thank you for having me.
So the granting of the franchise would allow you to construct, install, establish, operate, and maintain distributable power technologies and mini-grid systems throughout the Philippines. I mean, that's quite a task you now have on hand. So what is the first order of business?
Well, we're focusing on the areas that do not have electricity or do not have 24-hour electricity, just like in the 12 towns in 8 provinces where we are already serving 24-hour electricity to 200,000 Filipinos for the first time without any government subsidy.
Well, you've faced allegations that the franchise was bound to create a monopoly. Is the franchise exclusive?
It is explicitly non-exclusive and in fact has provisions in the franchise which say that it is without prejudice to the rights of others to operate even without a similar franchise. And nonetheless, there are already other business groups that have already filed or are planning to file for their own franchises, with this hopefully paving the way for a more competitive power industry for everyone.
So anyone, lawmakers included, can in the future, on behalf of potential rivals, file an application for a franchise?
And in fact, there was already one, and we hope that this will be a new market where many will be able to participate.
So how then do you address the argument that the franchise you secured would deprive Filipinos of choice?
That's quite interesting insofar as presently Filipinos are already deprived of choice, and rather than create a monopoly, this franchise breaks the existing monopoly in selected provinces, unserved and underserved areas. So I think in your statement earlier, you stated that we are allowed to operate throughout the Philippines. The franchise has been extensively watered down so that we are only allowed to operate in limited areas. And these include areas where the economic productivity is very low because of a lack of electricity, which hopefully we can help improve over the years, but by no means the juiciest parts of the country's power market.
Yeah, but the electric utilities and the power suppliers have claimed before this franchise was granted that the bill encroached upon their service areas. They oppose how the bill allows you to just enter selected areas that go through regular brownouts. What evidence do you have showing that you're not and will not encroach their service areas?
Well, if their definition of encroaching on their service area means giving 24-hour electricity to people who have never watched TV, enjoyed halo-halo, or have electric fans or electricity in their homes, then yes, we are very glad to encroach in their franchise areas to do things that they have failed to do themselves. So I think it's really just a matter of perspective, and the people who are writing this from air-conditioned offices in Makati clearly have no idea what it is like to live in provinces like Palawan, Mindoro, and Masbate, where we are already giving electricity to thousands of Filipinos. And we invite them to visit these areas, perhaps for the first time, to see what the lives of ordinary Filipinos are like.
So what have you done so far since 2017? Where have you brought solar power, and how many Filipinos have benefited, and which areas in the Philippines are you serving?
So they can visit the towns of Palauan, Occidental Mindoro, Claveria, Masbate, Dumaran, Palawan, some barangays of El Nido, other barangays in the provinces of Bohol, Davao Oriental, Misamis Occidental, Cagayan, and so on. These are all rural areas that these large companies have for many years neglected. And I think it's just because of resistance to any form of change that there's been disproportionate objection to this franchise. But thankfully, our very benevolent government has prioritized what is good for the people and not what is good for these existing monopolies. And again, I hope this is going to be a wake-up call to all power generators and power distributors that the time of making consumers have to put up with substandard service are over. And the government is serious about giving Filipinos the service that they deserve.
On On the disproportionate objections you mentioned, have other stakeholders taken part in the discussions? The Philippine Rural Electric Cooperatives Association, or Philreca, claim that for the longest time, they hadn't been called to join in the deliberations. They hadn't been invited. Is there any truth to this?
Well, actually, Ms. Kathy, it's on YouTube that there was a 4-hour session where these electric co-op associations and the lawyers paid by various power companies presented their position papers. And if I can share with you some of their points, they stated that their franchises are exclusive, which obviously is not the case because the Constitution prohibits any exclusivity in franchises. And secondly, they defended their brownouts, saying that brownouts are due to factors beyond their control. So ask your viewers in Palawan, for example, where people have been rioting on the streets complaining about the Palawan Electric Cooperative. Are they satisfied with that excuse? Obviously not. So it's a question. Is our government going to prioritize the interests of a few private businesses and electric co-ops, or the benefit that this can bring to millions of Filipinos?